So here we're looking at some of the foundation questions that people struggle with. Got this first question: Kieran and Chris play football. Don't get confused about the names. It doesn't matter if these are some weird names you've never heard of before. That's important. These are the important points of the question. Kieran has scored 8 more goals than Chris, and Jermaine has scored 5 more goals than Kieran. Altogether, they have scored 72 goals. So with Kieran, 8 more than, but we don't know how many goals Chris has scored, so we need to use a variable or a letter to show how many Chris has scored. Now we often use X, but it's one letter that we use. Now I down something for Kieran. Again, Kieran has scored 8 more than Chris. Now, if we knew how many Chris has scored, we could just add 8 on. We can do the same with algebra. We don't know how many Chris has scored, but we do know Kieran scored 8 more, so we get X plus 8. When it comes to Jermaine, Jermaine has scored 5 more goals than Kieran. Again, we don't know exactly how many Kieran scored, but we have denoted it. We've given X plus 8 to show, so we need to add 5 more on. Now you can write that as X plus 8 plus 5, or some of you that have a little bit more experience with this might be a little bit of a step ahead, might write that as X plus 13, because 8 plus 5 makes 13. Then we come to the last point that we've been given, the last bullet point. Altogether they have scored 72 goals. Well, if we add all these up, it should make 72. So Chris is X, Kieran is X plus 8, Jermaine, X plus 8 plus 5, or X plus 13. And if we find the grand total of all those, add them all up, it should come to 72. This is a bit messy on this side, so we can tidy this up. X plus X plus X, we've got 3 X's all together. So I'm going to write that as 3x, and 8 plus 13 is 21. That has to equal 72. Well, now we've set up this equation, you need to use your equation skills to solve it. Now, your maths teacher might have shown you a couple of different ways to do this, but all in all, a plus 21 we have to use the inverse of that to minus 21. 72 minus 21 is 51. Now we're just left with 3x on the left hand side, and this is a 3 times x. There's a hidden times sign in there, so to undo that, to reverse the times by 3, we need to divide by 3. If it's a calculator paper, great, type it into your calculator. If it's not, and you need to, draw yourself a little bus stop. They only take a few seconds. 51 divided by 3. 3 into 5 goes in once, with 2 remaining. 3 into 21 goes 7 times. We can bring that back over here. 51 divided by 3 is 17. So x is 17. Now, a big mistake at this point will be to think we've finished the question. The question was, how many goals did they each score? So we have to come back to our original expressions to say that Chris has scored x, and we now know that x is 17. And also be very, very careful to look at the order that the answers are in. Chris is 17. He's where we started. Kieran was x plus 8, so that's 17 plus 8, which is 25 in the Kieran answer box. And Jermaine was 5 more than that, or x plus 13, which is 30. Now again, particularly if it's a calculator paper, but even a non-calculator paper, we can do a very, very quick check to see if we've possibly got the right answer. All these numbers now should total 72. Altogether they've scored 72. So a quick addition, or on your calculator to check that they add up to 72, which they do. So that would get us 5 marks in our GCSE, 1 mark or 2 marks for setting up the original equation, forming the original expression, forming the equation, solving it to find x, and then the final part of the question, answering Kieran, Jermaine and Chris's goals. Question number 2 on this video, again a worded question. These are the ones that we find difficult sometimes. This time Eddie and Caroline are going to the school play. Eddie buys 6 adult tickets and 2 child tickets and he pays £39. Caroline buys 5 adult tickets and 3 child tickets. She pays £36.50. Work out the cost of an adult ticket and the cost of a child ticket. The important thing to recognise in this worded question is we've got 2 variables. There are 2 different numbers we don't know. We don't know how much the adult ticket is and we don't know how much the child ticket is, and that's the same for both sentences. These are sometimes possible to work out without using algebra, but it's far easier and it's far more reliable to use algebra. You could spend a long time trying to guess numbers, but if we do it algebraically, we'll get straight to the answer. Setting up the equation: 6A, 6 adult tickets, and 2 child tickets plus 2C, costs adds up to £39. Whereas when Caroline goes, she buys 5 adult tickets and 3 children's tickets, and her total bill is £36.50. Please be careful with these decimal points when we're talking about things like money, that we get a sensible answer at the end. Again, there are several different ways to set this out. Your maths teacher might have shown you slightly different to me, but it's all the same method overall. I call this equation number 1 and this equation number 2. It just keeps my working out organised. Now, if you've done simultaneous equations, you'll know that we have to make either the adult tickets or the children's tickets match. Now, just because the numbers are lower, I'm going to match up the children's tickets. At the minute, I've got 2 children's tickets in this equation and 3 children's tickets in this one, 2C and 3C. Knowing our times tables, they both fit into 6. 6 is the first number in the 2 times table, the 3 times table, known as the lowest common multiple. So to make that happen, I take equation number 1 and times it by 3. Well, why by 3? This is the most common question I get. Why do I times by 3? Because if I do 2C times 3, I get 6C. That's what I'm aiming for. But I can't just multiply the C term, I've got to multiply everything. 6A times by 3 is 18A, plus the 6C we had, and now I need to do 39 times by 3. 39 times by 3, if it's a non-calculator paper, a little grid method, or a column method. If it's a calculator paper, you can just type that in. And 39 times by 3 is 117. Okay. Then we need to make our second equation match up. So equation number 2 times by 2. Again, y times by 2. When I do 3c times by 2, it matches. It gets to 6c, which is what I want. I need a match. 5a times by 2 is 10a. And £36.50 times by 2 is £73. Now they match up. I've already picked up at least 1 mark, maybe even 2 in some exam boards, in some mark schemes. I need to remove this 6c. And I do that by doing a takeaway. I'm going to call this equation number 3 and equation number 4. And I'm going to do equation number 3, takeaway equation number 4. All the way across. Why? Well, 6c take away 6c is nothing. But 18a take away 10a leaves me with 8a. And 117 take away 73 leaves me with 44. This is a gap. There's nothing when we do 6c take away 6c. There's just a left, and we can solve that. This is a hidden time sign. Times by 8 becomes divide by 8. Possible to do on a non-calculator paper, but it more than likely calculator. 44 divided by 8 is 5.5. That's what your calculator would come up with, but we're talking money. We wouldn't talk about £5.5, we'd talk about £5.50. So don't forget to add that extra 0 on. Once I know what my A is, I need to put it back into one of our first 2 equations to find out the children's tickets. It doesn't matter if you do it into equation number 1 or equation number 2. I'm going to go for equation number 1 because when I times it by 6, it's going to be a whole number. But if you did it into the second equation, it wouldn't matter. So I'm substituting into equation number 1. So that gives me 6 times £5.50 plus 2c equals 39. That's just come purely from this equation, 6 lots of the adult ticket plus 2 children. That's what Eddie bought. So 6 times £5.50, 6 times 5 is £30, and 6 50p's is £3. So I've got £33 plus the 2 children's tickets had to be £39. Again, another equation that we can solve by doing our inverse operations. Plus 33 goes over to be minus 33. So 2c is 6, 39 take away 33, and a times by 2 goes over to be divide by 2. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So our adult ticket is £5.50, our child ticket is £3. Now, before we move on, this is a 5-mark question. Even though we've got our answer, and we need to put them in the answer line in a moment, but we can double check. It's always worth double checking, again, easy on a calculator paper, but worth doing on a non-calculator in this second equation. 5 adult tickets, so that'd be 5 times £5.50, plus 3 child tickets, so 3 times 3, should give me £36.50. On a calculator paper, I can just type that in. If it's non-calculator, I have a bit more work to do. 5 times 5 is 25, and 5 50p's is £2.50, so that's £27.50. 3 times 3 is 9, and £27.50 plus £9 gives me £36.50. So not only do I need to just drop my answers into the answer line, I can move on to the next question knowing that I have definitely picked up 5 marks.